Super Show! You're not fresh, motherfucker! This is the same shit!
0 out of 10.
Team trash! And team garbage! This shit is ass! Trash! Trash!
Alright, this time I actually unmuted us, unlike Friday, so again, I want to apologize to everyone. We missed Friday night SmackDown's review from a few days ago, but we are here, we are live on a Halloween night of 2022 at approximately 10:09 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we are here to bring you the Monday Night Raw Go Home show for Crown Jewel from October 31st, 2022, Halloween, and this show was flaming hot ass! As with me as always is Devon. This is also the debut show on Twitter. We'll see how long this lasts before we get taken off of the platform. But Devon, go ahead and say hi to everyone. Hey, you gotta hit it with it. The song sound like motherfucker crying and made me want to cry watching this shit.
Today wasn't. It's the same story as every week. Really, starts out okay. Start out okay. Getting into the show and then just.
And then I drank the vodka. That's what happens every fucking time. It starts off all great. Oh yeah, it's great. Yeah.
I fell asleep during Raw yesterday. I fell asleep during Raw last week. I fell asleep during Raw today. I'm sleeping right now.
Devon did not fall asleep during Raw because I did. I fell asleep during Raw. I fell asleep last week. I fell asleep yesterday. I fell asleep the night before. And I fell asleep now. Because
I did. I watched Monday Night Raw.
Because I hate wrestling. That's it. No, this shit will make you an alcoholic. This shit will put you to sleep because this shit is ass. Also, as you'll notice, if you're watching this in video format, not listening to it on the various podcasting platforms, you'll be seeing the slideshow that I've started using, and there's a image of Otis with a pumpkin on his head. I want you to take your attention to the crowd when it comes back around here. Give it a second. Yep, there we go. And you'll notice a fan in the front row with the sign that says, "Acknowledge Daddy." Go suck cock in Hollywood! This fucking goddamn... Nah, bro. This Dallas, Texas crowd had... I felt so bad for them, but then they would do some dumb shit like that I was like, you know what? Fuck y'all. I don't even care, bro. I hope y'all don't get no entertainment tonight. WWE stands for We Won't Entertain. But make sure you direct all your hate tweets and everything to the show. Go ahead and send out... If you have an opinion, go ahead and send it out. Spread the word. Go ahead. Tell me how much of a piece of shit I am. Go ahead. I want you to. Just like we had someone do when he left a review for the show. Then he thought by putting 1 star that it would make the show, he thought by putting 1 star that the show wouldn't get, as much publicity, I guess, or the show wouldn't be seen on Apple Podcast as much. Because every time you go out there and you mark out talking about, I thought it was shit, he's a hater. Guess what? You're making the show more discoverable. So thank you. Thank you. But let's go ahead and review his comments. We'll get this done now. So, this is from that guy with the hair. Must have been that guy in the crowd with the Acknowledge Daddy shirt. But anyway, he said, and I quote, that our show, this is the header of his review on Apple Podcasts, where you can find the show every week, approximately a few hours after Raw. You can also find it on Spotify and every other major platforming podcast platform, but whatever. I digress. Enough cheap plugs. That guy with the hair said in his header, "Contrarian just to be contrarian." The Attitude Era was corny and filled with bad wrestling. To that I agree. I never said that it had the best wrestling out of all the eras. But he said there was good stuff, but putting it on a pedestal while trashing good wrestling that's still happening isn't fun to listen to in the slightest. 1 star. How about you take that pedestal, shine it up real nice, put Triple H on it like you have been, and the rest of your Virgin action figures and your fucking collectible title belts and your mama's fucking sippy cup. Shine it up, turn it sideways, and stick it straight up your virgin ass! How about that? Then I want you to get in the car. I want you to start it up, and I want you to go on a little drive. And I want you to make sure that when you're driving, you pay attention. All right, make sure you pull up your Google Maps because you're probably too stupid to, know how to use an actual map. Don't have enough fingers and toes to count your north, south, east, and west. And I want you to look for that right onto Know Your Role Boulevard. And I want you to hang that left onto Jabroni Drive. And I want you to check your fucking mother basement dwelling, haven't seen pie since you shot out of it, mark ass directly into the shut your fucking mouth hotel. How about that? How about that? But anyway, that's enough for that guy with the hair. I'm not going to be like JD from NY and make a 3-hour fucking video where I shit on my critics. By the way, shout out to the homie Jade Cargill. I don't care if she calls me a mark either. I loved what she said. Fuck you, JD from NY. Because tonight, your boy that you've been putting on a pedestal for months, I've had to listen to every time Devon plays this motherfucker in the background. I've had to read all these fucking marks that watch his fucking show on Twitter talk about, oh, change is coming, change is here, change is now. Because Triple H has taken over. And after approximately three garbage dumpster fire shows and one of the worst rated Raws in the history of television, we finally came to the Raw where I can prominently say not a goddamn thing has changed. Take it, love it, hold it, shove it up your ass. Halloween Havoc your way to the fucking dumpster, you fucking dork. Anyway, we got a show to talk about. If you can call it a show. I'd like to think of this as a fucking human colonoscopy in the form of the WWE logo. Because they love to ram this garbage up your ass every fucking week. But let's look at this lobotomy of a show. And we'll break it down segment by segment for you that have not listened. You can check out, the show. Like I said, we're on every major platform from iHeartRadio, Spotify, every single thing. Or even on TuneIn. You can listen to us on your Alexa. Shut up, bitch. I had to mute her. But you can listen to us on that. You can listen to us on everything. You can listen to us on the car ride with the ear rape. And it'll be great. But let's go ahead and take a look at the lobotomy of the show. Because if you're not aware, we break down these segments, segment by segment. I do my best to give you every spot in the match. So that way I can tell you which ones look like shit or where they could have done it better. If they didn't sell it long enough. If, the psychology of that spot made no sense. Which there was a lot of that tonight. The in-ring product has not been great lately. Although there has been moments of it's been getting decent. And it starts to resemble that of pro wrestling. But tonight, there wasn't much here. I will say, because I'm sure most people are fired up about a main event, and we'll get to there. This will probably be the first time you've heard me in approximately a few weeks, so the people have been tuning in, routinely, that I actually praise the women's tag match, because I think it was actually, sadly, by virtue of every match being on the show trash, the best match on the show. And it wasn't actually a bad match. It was a spot fest, but I mean, I expect none other than from these women anyway. There's a couple botches, but it wasn't anything egregious. It at least looked alright. Psychology could have been better in some areas, but for the most part, this match was not that bad. But the match that started the show, it definitely left a lot to be desired. You have to give me a second, because I'm going to light up my cigarette here. Okay.
Oh, well, while he's doing that, I might as well just say, me personally, I thought the Seth Rollins and Austin Theory match.
Well, the problem I have with that match is that it was too short and it should have been saved for a pay-per-view. And I feel like it could have had way better storytelling in it. Should it have been saved for a pay-per-view with the approximate few weeks of build. But I guess from an in-ring technical standpoint, and if you throw in selling and some other stuff, you know, it was all right. There was a few moments of psychology where, like, you know, this guy would have an advantage on him in the corner, and then he just fucking stops. Yeah. That drove me fucking nuts. At least in this match, it was just spot monkey bullshit, so you didn't have problems with that. But let's start with the opening match with Bianca and Nikki Ass. Not Nikki Cross, not Nikki ASH. She is still and will forever be. She was Nikki Ass then, she was Nikki Ass now, and she will be fucking Nikki Ass forever. Okay? I don't care. I don't want to see people coming in the comments section talking about, oh, it's the edgy Nikki Cross. No, it's the edgy Nikki Ass.
And people were actually, like, I'm sitting here looking through Twitter now, and people were actually, like, excited for this, and I don't. Who is she gonna put on? Oh snap! Nikki Cross bringing back a version of the Sanity theme. Wish the rest of the group was here. They never got a fair run. Goo 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 goo. Yeah, thanks again, Vince. Oh God.
You would think Vince was booking the show with how it went down.
I'm convinced at this point. I'm convinced.
But, you know, the show opened with Bianca coming out to the ring. And I got to tell you, every week I keep seeing her, and I'm getting more and more dumb with the Bianca experiment. But whatever, you know, like I said, I understand to the kids out there that like it, and, you know, it is what it is. But it's getting to a point where I think people are about to start turning on her because it's getting a little fucking ridiculous. She is regressing in the ring, in her storytelling, in the matches. In every single form of what it takes to be a pro wrestler, I have not seen her excelling. Part of that I can't blame on her 100%. I mean, some of the people she's been in the ring with lately, I mean, yeah, some people will be like, well, it's Bayley. Well, I think Bayley has fucking regressed too. But, and I can't necessarily blame fucking Bianca for that shit. But what I can tell you is that fucking Bayley has done no favors helping Bianca out, outside of being a heel with the stable full of heaters for her to go over and look strong. That's about it. If anything, this has done more damage to damage control. And they have no control on that damage, I'll tell you now. And we'll get to that, but Bianca comes out. We're then told what we're expected to see tonight. We're expected to see a trick or street fight between Otis and Matt Riddle. We're told that the big dog, the tribal cheeks, not the tribal chief, the tribal cheeks, is going to be here live. And we're also told that we'll get a face-off between Brock and Bobby Lashley. Nikki Ass then makes her way to the ring, and the match starts. Bianca was hitting some flips, and she started slapping her ass, you know, the little bullshit she does. Nikki just screams, because she's a crazy, crazy person. Yeah! Nikki hit a flying crossbody when she hit the ropes and ran. Was on top of Bianca and started hitting some punches. She has a full mount position at this point. In a real fight, Bianca is going to have to do a lot to get Nikki off of her. But since this is a fake choreographed trash fucking no psychology wrestling match, Nikki Ass gets off of her and starts taunting the crowd. That looked dumb. That's a spit in the face to Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's a spit in the face to Luthez. That's a spit in the face to anyone that would take someone down and rain on punches. But, you know, what do I know? Then Bianca gets up and she hits a clothesline. She hits a drop kick. Nikki lays in another crossbody, this time diving. However, Bianca catches her and hits a fall away slam. Nikki then trips Bianca while she's coming towards the ropes, and Bianca's knee gets tangled in the ropes. Nikki then begins attacking the knee and punches and everything. I think they were trying to set this up to where when the trip on the ropes happened and then they were going to have Nikki scream and that was when they were going to cut out to commercial. But I don't think they were both set or ready. So they went ahead and said, fuck it, let her punch her a couple more times. And you could audibly hear the ref tell her, all right, we're going out. So then fucking Nikki goes, ah! And then we go to commercial. We come out of commercial and Bianca hits 2 scoop slams. She hits a vertical suplex. After she hits the vertical suplex, she then begins selling her leg, her knee. Oh, after she nipped up, I forgot. After she did the suplex, she did the nip up. She did it previously in the match. But, yeah, she did the nip up. This is the second time. And when she did this, she started selling the knee. But then she starts doing these fucking cartwheels and flips, attempting to do a move. But Nikki moves. And fucking Bianca goes outside. Nikki then, while outside with Bianca, applies a standing rear naked choke. That looked like shit. Almost looked as bad as when CM Punk applied it to fucking, what was his name, Michael Jackson or Johnson, whatever the fuck, the dude he fought in his second UFC fight. After applying the rear naked outside that looked like shit, Bianca throws herself back. Just like Bam Bam Bigelow and Taz, and they went through the floor. Always looks alright. With the women, didn't look as impactful. But it was alright. Nothing bad here. At this point, Damage Control comes out. They begin distracting the ref. Bayley throws Bianca into the post. But then Nikki attacks Bayley. And then she goes in the ring and attacks Io on the ropes. And then she does a diving crossbody to Dakota Kai at ringside. She gets back in the ring, goes for a move, Bianca slips and applies the KOD, hits it, and the match is over. Bianca is your winner. At this point, Damage Control begins jumping Bianca Belair, and then fucking Asuka and Alexa come out to save the day. God damn it. You fucking stupid bot. I gotta mute this bitch. Hold on. There we go. After that, we're told that we're going to get a tag team title match between Alexa and Asuka later tonight against Damage Control. But before we move on, Devon, thoughts on the opening match?
Trash.
Would you elaborate?
No, yeah, sure.
Yeah, because I don't want to end up being just shitting on the show just because I want to shit on the show.
Yeah, you don't want to be a contrarian just to be a contrarian.
Well, let's see. They go ahead, they repackage Nikki ass to Nikki Crabs, and I couldn't care less. I didn't care about Nikki Cross when she was back in NXT. I didn't care about Nikki Cross when she was up in the main roster sipping coffee with Alexa Bliss. I don't care now that she's here doing the same shit. I don't care that she has her Sanity remix theme song. I will never care. She was trash when she was doing her superhero gimmick. She does nothing for me. She doesn't elevate the women's division. All she is a body. That's what Nikki Cross brings to the table by being back in the women's division. Bianca Belair, the experiment is dead. There is no superhero serum. There's no super soldier serum. The John Cena run in the women's division isn't working for me. I didn't care for it when it started. I never thought she was that great in the ring. I never thought she was a good promo. I didn't see what everybody else saw. Now that everybody else is, starting to see what I'm seeing, it's a little bit of validation in my eyes, because I've been saying this shit for the longest time. But people have been sitting here telling me that I'm crazy, but now I'm getting that. It just took a little bit. It just took that's all. It just took her being on TV more. Yeah, people are starting to open their eyes. That fucking K Jewelry commercial. It should be if you open your eyes.
If you close your eyes.
I'm glad I know I'm not crazy. The in-ring work, it's your typical Bianca Belair match, with just some damage control shenanigans. I mean, at this point, I just feel like you could say that about everybody on the roster, because everybody has their own formulaic way of doing their matches. Obviously, you're going to have the sprinkle of Nikki Ass, doing whatever she does in the ring, throwing a whole bunch of strikes and throwing herself onto people's backs and doing some Luthong presses. It's not good. Not good. Just intertwining it with the damage control shit puts an even more sour taste in my mouth. So I didn't enjoy any of it. I didn't enjoy it. Not a single thing. Match itself is I don't care. 0 out of 10.
No. Yeah, boy.
One of you nerds want to dispute me on that, you can just talk at the J-Rich Talks Twitter. I respond to everybody. Let me hear what you have to say. Dispute that, please. I dare you to. I dare you. But go. Moving on.
All right. Let's see here. Well, after that, we then got a recap of the previous 3 weeks of Brock and Bobby. And we got a momentary picture-in-picture display of Lashley on one side and Lesnar is supposed to be on the other. But Brock's not there. And I was like, well, this makes no sense because it said it was going to be a face-off. Well, wasn't no fucking face-off. They were going to have him sitting there in a picture-in-picture interview. So that made no fucking sense in my opinion, but whatever. But anyway, it didn't matter because ultimately we go to commercial. We come out of commercial and Bianca, Alexa, and Asuka are backstage and they're, Bianca's giving them a pep talk and everything, and Alexa's talking about, I haven't forgotten about the injuries and all this and that. And then Asuka says the same thing she always does. You are not 20 for Asuka!
At this point, I just, I feel like... Nobody is ready for Asuka!
Yeah, essentially, yes.
Jesus.
But anyway, we're then told, again, they've reaffirmed that we're getting a tag title match, and it'll be the main event tonight between Alexa, Asuka, and Damage Control. We then get the Lashley and Lesnar interview segment. Starts off with the picture-in-picture again. They start interviewing Lashley, and Lashley said that he's not surprised Lesnar didn't show up, that Brock has been ducking him for 20 years, and that he's going to expose him like he would have if they would have faced off 20 years ago. Doubtful. But, either way, instead, Lesnar comes out to the ring, grabs a microphone, starts playing it up to the Dallas crowd, then tells, he says, he fucking says that he came to Texas to do what Texans would do. And that's fight. So then, he calls out Bobby. Bobby starts to come to the ring, and Brock said he knows that Bobby didn't get the memo, but it wouldn't have mattered because he couldn't read it if he did anyway. But then, anyway, Bobby starts to come out. He's taking his jacket off. He's getting ready for a fight. And then Lesnar comes out to the outside of the ring, and he's feigning a right hand, looking like he's about to charge with the right hand or a clothesline. And then he shoots for a double leg, and Brock looked like a freak doing it. They then have a brawl or whatever. Every single person from the roster and crew try to separate them. And they look like they have them separated, but you already know what's going to happen. Ah! Brock breaks free! So then Brock gets free and goes to attack Bobby. And then Triple H says that if they touch, the fight is off. But it ultimately led to nothing because they never touched again. So anyway, we then are told that Seth Rollins and Austin Theory is going to be next. We go to commercial. But Devin, thoughts on the Lashley Lesnar segment?
It's just between NXT and then I've been saying this for, I feel like I've been saying this for like what, 3 weeks now. This motherfucker Triple H, this motherfucker Triple Booker, the man loves his brawls, bro. Like it's a one thing when you do it for a feud that, you know, has that calls for all that bullshit. But it's like when you're doing it for every single, like, I get it, they're two big beefy dudes, and, you know, they beat the shit out of each other and put each other through tables and shit. But it's like I had these two skinny vanilla fucking motherfuckers, Matt Riddle and fucking Seth Rollins, like doing the same shit. And it was like, I don't know, do some crazy shit. Give me something. Give me the ball, but give me something else with it. Like, I'm not saying you got to be like Seth Rollins talking about scooping fucking Rey Mysterio's eyeball out. But I don't know. Get him. Well, I guess they're still PG, huh? Can they blade?
No.
No. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. They might have fucking lost, but it's not terrible. It's not bad. It's just whatever. I've seen it like every week now. Some long. Fuck care.
Which is why I don't see the point of that cage match.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well,
I guess it'll get views on YouTube.
Yeah, that's where it's ultimately going to go. But speaking of ultimately going to YouTube, I don't think this match will make it. It was too long for a YouTube clip. And people don't care about the wrestling, bro.
Oh, yeah.
But it's Austin Theory and Seth Rollins. So Austin Theory makes his entrance, Seth Rollins makes his. We get a recap during Seth Rollins' entrance of him and Mustafa Ali. And I'll give them credit because when they showed that and then following the match and the pattern that they've had, I was like, oh, fuck, that just means this match is going to be whatever, and then fucking Ali's going to come out and interrupt it. So, thankfully, to WWE's credit, like I said, I got to give them credit. No Ali distraction. This was a clean match from start to finish. They actually gave us a contest here with a clean finish, although this definitely should have been reserved for a pay-per-view and a feud, which is partly... And I was also not given nearly enough time since it was on television, as opposed to a... well, I got to stop saying pay-per-view. I forgot to mention, WWE isn't in the business of pay-per-views anymore. They're in the business of PLEs, which is Premium Live Events. Ah.
Oh, and here's something from your boy Dave Meltzer.
Oh, here we go.
SmackDown on FS1 did 835K, 0.26, but a key is not only different station, but this nigga can't. But that if you had a season pass DVR like I do, it didn't record. AEW did 378K. Good God.
What happened to the Friday Night War?
0.12. World Series was the key reason for both being so low.
Yeah, see, I mean, they only were down 100,000 for AEW because AEW couldn't get anyone to draw their way to that show if you dipped them in shit. So they could that wasn't going to work. And then as for SmackDown, I mean, they're only down another 1 some odd million because of the main reason would be the change in network. Not a lot of people have FS1. It does not come bundled with default cable packages unless you have, like the certain packages or whatever that include sporting channels. And it also is not on network television, which is why SmackDown gets as many views as it does. Because you do not have to have anything. You go to the store and buy a fucking antenna for like $5 to $20 in that price range. Your results may vary with how well it will work, depending on how much you pay. But you can buy a fucking antenna from the store for a cheap-ass price and watch SmackDown on any television. Because it is a network access television channel. It's a broadcast channel. It's not a cable channel. There's a difference between broadcast television, network television, and fucking cable television. And when you take a network television show and move it to FS1 on a cable platform, I'm sure, yeah, would the World Series have taken some people away? Yeah. But let's not act like the World Series. If we want to really break that down, we can. The number of baseball, especially in the World Series, has been on decline for years. They do not get that crazy amount of views for the World Series and or baseball in general. So I very strongly doubt that a big portion of the number of people not tuning into SmackDown had to do with the fucking World Series. I think it had to do with the network pushing them to FS1 because of the World Series. If anything, that's the only thing the World Series did. And for them to pull 800,000 viewers on FS1, which is the channel that gets next to no viewership anyway, pretty impressive if you think about it. Because they're pulling the numbers that AEW averages every fucking week. They get fucking 800,000 for Dynamite! And they got 800,000 for a fucking show that got moved to a network television station last minute without telling anyone. Yeah, not too bad if you ask me, but, whatever.
Also, WWE got the word that due to the rain out of the World Series tonight, that Friday night won't have a series game, so SmackDown is on Fox on Friday.
Well, there you go. So it looks like it's going to be a pirate's life for you on Friday, Devon. Arg!
I'll miss out on 80% of the show. Let's go.
Fuck yeah, baby! Alright, here we go. So, Austin Theory came out. Seth Rollins followed. Like I said, we got the recap. And Seth looked like a fruitcake as usual. Nothing too crazy. I'd expected him to come out to some dumbass costume, but it was pretty much a standard Seth Rollins affair.
Well, he was himself for Halloween.
Oh, yeah. What a heel. What a dick move.
He went as his old gimmick. He had the blonde in his hair again. He fucking had his old fucking tights or whatever.
I can see it now. Community Creations, WWE 2K22. Seth Rollins from Raw, October, whatever the fuck. People are gonna the 2 people in the world that will download that will be using it and jacking off to it in universe mode as we speak.
Oh my god.
But the match opened and Seth applied a side headlock, did a little chain wrestling moves or whatever. Seth rebounded off the ropes or whatever when fucking Theory pushed him off and attempted a pedigree, but Theory escaped, went outside. They both then feint coming in and inside and outside the ring, and then Seth feints coming inside, so Theory takes the bait and goes for an elbow drop, but then Seth goes ahead and fucking stays outside anyway. So then Theory crashes his elbow to the canvas. At that point, they're kind of teaching they're doing the student-teacher shit, and he's out schooling Theory, kind of laughing and smirking at each other. Seth attempts a springboard, but Theory stops him, and then Theory gets frustrated and throws Seth into the steps and starts yelling, and we go to commercial. We come out of commercial, and they start exchanging strikes, the booyah spot. And then it was basically one of those anything you can do, I can do better matches. Because Seth Rollins goes for a suicide dive. He does it twice, and then Theory goes for a suicide dive. Theory does an elbow and goes for a suplex, and then Rollins counters and hits a suplex of his own for a 2 count. Seth hits a springboard knee, followed by a super kick for a 2 count. Seth then goes for a pedigree, but then Theory counters with a roll up. And then they do the roll-up counter spots where they keep flipping over, 1, 2, counter, 1, 2, counter, 1, 2, counter. That bullshit. Showing that they're basically evenly matched. Theory then hits a neck breaker out of like a suplex position. I don't know what you want to call that. For a 2 count. Seth then hits an enziguri, but then Theory flips over him and hits a blockbuster for a 2 count. Looked pretty nice. Theory then begins looking for the finish and has him in a fireman's carry position to hit the K-Town down, or whatever the fuck it's called.
The A-Town down?
A-Town down, whatever. These finishers are fucking stupid. The names for them. But anyway, as he's looking for the finish, Seth fights out. Seth goes for a curb stomp. This is the best sequence of the match. Seth goes for a curb stomp, but then Theory counters into his finish again, so he has him in a fireman's carry position again. But Seth escapes again and hits a super kick. Or goes for a super kick, and then Theory counters, and Theory hits a super kick that takes his head off. Theory then says he's the king of the cash-in and starts to set up a pedigree. But Seth pushes him up, pops him in the air. Theory lands on his knees, and Seth counters it by hitting the curb stomp for the win. I like it when you can come up with, instead of kicking out of finishers, making it to where you find creative counters to avoid your finisher, because it makes the finisher look that demonstrative that if you were to hit it, it could be the end of the match. That's pro wrestling. So it wasn't bad. A little rushed, didn't get a lot of time. Was divided by a commercial, could have been better without it. And should have been a match and a build and on a pay-per-view, but is what it is. But before we go on, Devon, go ahead and give your thoughts on Theory versus Seth Rollins.
I enjoyed the match. I enjoyed it. I agree with that. Yeah, seeing that match and how they treated it. Yeah, I feel like it should have been on the team. With the build, because they actually did cut out there.
I'll give you one that they should have done for a crown jewel instead of Mustafa Ali.
Yeah,
Seth Rollins, Austin Theory. But not only is it for the U.S. title, but should Austin Theory win, he gets a U.S. belt. But should Seth Rollins win, he gets the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Oh, that would have been. Oh, okay.
And you know how you finish it? Either a DQ or a double count out or a draw. Both men couldn't get up to their feet after hitting a maneuver, and that's how it ends. Because then all week, building to that match, for the weeks building to it, people will be like, God damn, does that mean that Theory's not going to cash in because he's going to win the U.S. belt? Because the people are going to think he's going to win the U.S. belt, because surely they wouldn't put the briefcase on Seth. So then people are going to be like, so if he gets the U.S. belt, does that mean he's going to drop it? This is going to be stupid. Is he going to cash in? How's this going to work? Everyone's going to be talking and talking and talking. How's it going to go? How's it going to happen? And no one would predict a double, like a draw. And then you set up that match later down the road for them to continue after that. And there you go. And the reason it could have been a draw, the reason both men get floored is Mustafa Ali.
I'm your problem. Yeah.
But what do I know? What do I know? Yeah.
It's a problem. You don't know what you're talking about.
No.
No. You're just a piece of shit.
Yep.
Just hate on it to hate on it. Fuck you.
Yeah.
1 star.
Would have been a very entertaining thing. Could have been a feud that, because, you separate it briefly by having Ali come in, so then he feuds with Seth Rollins, because he's pissed since he didn't get that shot for the U.S. belt. And that's why he interrupts it or whatever, and then you set that up in the future for Austin Theory and Seth Rollins to wrestle again. And Theory could be the reason that Seth Rollins loses the belt. It could be he defends it against fucking Mustafa Ali, and then but fucking Theory comes in and fucking costs fucking Seth Rollins a belt. And then you set that match up for the Royal Rumble. You could set it up for the fucking, they could feud in the Rumble. That could be a Mania match at this point. You could build it to Mania. A lot of matches can be built and started in November. They've done it before. There's a million ways you could have done that, and it could have been a match at Mania that they could have set up and had this exact match tonight, but way better, longer, and more storytelling, and could have done the whole student and teacher thing. Played up on the cash-in. Seth goes over, and you think, oh, Theory's not going to cash in tonight because, they wrestled early in the show and Seth won, and then Theory cashes in later that night. I mean, this would have provided a bunch of fucking windows for all three of them to look good coming out of this. But, is what it is. Instead, we're going to get a shitty U.S. title match on fucking Crown Jewel. We wasted a pay-per-view match on Raw, and Ali's going to go back to the mid-card. Theory is going to flounder the mid-card until he ultimately cashes in, and that's how the rest of this is going to go now. And all three of them don't come out the same looking like top stars. So, yeah, well, whatever. Moving on. Yeah. But, speaking of big stars, pulling up backstage, there's a Chevy Suburban. And who else could it be but the big dog? Who, at this point, I can't stand Roman Reigns before. Still not the biggest fan of him, but it's sad that I have to say this. But he is probably the best thing on that show. On both shows.
Yeah.
Because not a single other person has star power at this point. And granted, the only reason he has star power is not from organic or getting over himself. It's mainly due to being pushed and propped up as the top guy for so fucking long. He has gotten better over time with the heel shit, and people have been happy that he's been used as a heel, not shoved down their throat like the next John Cena. But, it's sad to say, but he is definitely the biggest star. And Roman is here, and he'll be coming up next. And we go to commercial break. Come out of commercial, and we're told that we have breaking news. That fucking Bray Wyatt will be at Crown Jewel.
We'll get to see Uncle Howdy.
Maybe not. We'll get to see him on the Titantron as Bray Wyatt cuts the same promo for the fourth week in a row.
Aww.
Because if he's going to be at Crown Jewel, it's most likely not going to be at Smackdown. At least not physically. So it'll be a video package thing, because they did advertise the Uncle Howdy shit. So it's going to probably most likely be a pre-tape thing teasing the whole Crown Jewel shit, which means that, well, once again, be bamboozled.
Gosh darn it.
But anyway, then Roman comes out. They have some shitty bloodline tree CGI thing, because they're trying to be like the NFL on Fox, where they used the CGI shit. They started doing that after they went to Fox. I think Vince probably saw that and was like, God damn, that's brilliant. We don't need set pieces built. We can use CGI, because the NFL will use stuff and make it look like it's on the field with CGI or whatever to kind of add to the gravitas of the game. They'll have like a Coliseum and fucking CGI or some shit with the two helmets and the battles or whatever the fuck. Whenever they show Panther Stadium, they have like a panther, for the Carolina Panthers, they have like a panther sitting there on top of the stadium roaring. The Chiefs, they got the Indian on the horse and the fucking KC Wolf and all the shit. With the fucking, all the different various sports teams have their thing. The Bear has his own little thing, for the Chicago Bears. But fucking, so I'm sure Vince was inspired by that, and that's why they started doing it a few years ago. But this one looked like shit. Anyway, he comes out and he gets a bunch of pyro. Which, by the way, I did forget to mention that Brock Lesnar did have pyro, too. Nice to see pyro coming back. I do appreciate that. They've had it a couple weeks, but it's never been consistent with everyone. But I feel like since they knew this live crowd was going to be sitting there watching a lot of talking and not a lot of wrestling, they felt like they had to give them at least something, so might as well give them a cheap fireworks display. Roman's in the ring, and the crowd starts chanting, Usi. When I say the crowd, I mean approximately half of the crowd. Let's say they had 8,000 people there. I'd say probably about 4,000 to 5,000 of them are chanting Usi. Okay, I don't think, a lot of these people are probably just like, oh, WWE's in town, let's go see what it is. So I don't think they all knew what was going on. Roman tells the crowd to acknowledge him. Usi chants start again. Says Jimmy and Sammy are going to make Jay Usi. You don't have to worry about that. But he said for 2 years he hypes up his opponents and smashes them. He then proceeds to call himself the GOAT. And that Logan's only had 2 matches, so there's no way in hell that he's going to be beaten by Logan Paul. Paul Heyman continues to hype the screws in his hand and says it doesn't matter all the advantages that Logan Paul will have coming into that match, that fucking he's going to get smashed by Roman Reigns. This prompts The Miz to come out. The Miz acknowledges Roman. He then says he trained Logan Paul and that the right hand is real, that those pins in there give him an advantage. And The Miz offers to help Roman with Logan because apparently he knows his weaknesses if Roman helps him with Dexter Lumis. And then Roman's, he's contemplating the deal and he asks fucking Miz, he said, why does everyone keep talking about Logan Paul knocking him out? And I'm like, okay, yeah, here we go, he's gonna knock him out, whatever. And I told, literally, as the segment before it was going on, I was like, yeah, it's just here so he can hit a fucking stupid man punch. And I was hoping that he wouldn't and just lay in an actual punch. But no, he proceeds to land the shitty fucking looking fake-ass stupid man punch that wouldn't hurt anyone at all. Said then after landing it, he looks dead in the hard camera and says they should be talking about him knocking Logan Paul out. Walks up to the ramp saying that he owns the company, this and that, whatever, same old bullshit. And that was the end of that segment. And we would go to commercial. But Devon, thoughts on the Roman Reigns segment? Devon? Devon? Thoughts on the Roman Stains?
Oh no, I heard you. I just had to. Well, first, I think the issue with this pay-per-view is I just don't care about any of the matches. I mean, Logan Paul hasn't put on a bad match yet, so it's not like it's going to be a shit show in terms of the fucking wrestling. I just don't care about the program more so. More than it is me caring about the match, So,
well, I'll say this in regards to this fucking premium live event. Jim Cornette actually said it best. He was saying on his show, and I never really thought about it like this, since they don't really have to worry about selling tickets, and they don't have to worry about selling pay-per-view buys, putting on a freak show match like this actually kind of makes a lot of sense, because with the Saudi shows, they don't really have to worry about selling tickets.
Yeah, they literally buy. Yeah.
So you might as well give the Saudi show something that they feel is premium, and by giving them the big celebrity or whatever, and putting on the freak show match, it gets everyone talking. That's why they do it. And if you look at the trend of Saudi shows, I mean, they had Braun and Tyson Fury, Cain Velasquez and Brock Lesnar. That's where they bring in the celebrity acts or the big spectacle matches. Yeah, Undertaker, Goldberg, the fucking DX versus Brothers Destruction shit. These shows are where they bring the big fucking spectacle hoopla bullshit. Now, Crown Jewel is at least the pay-per-view of the two that they do that centers more so on the actual storylines, and it actually has stuff that does involve... It's not like a filler pay-per-view. Whereas Super Showdown takes place in Australia, and Super Showdown is the one where they had they literally had a Super Showdown a few years ago where Triple H wrestled John Cena. Well, no, they had one where Triple H wrestled John Cena. No, Greatest Royal Rumble is in Saudi. But fucking, they also had, Triple H and Cena. They had Triple H and Orton. They had fucking Triple H and Undertaker at a Super Showdown. So they put the weird matches that fucking with the big names. It's like a fucking house show. just with the bigger stars since they have more money. So the Super Showdown is the one that's more filler. You know, I know JD probably doesn't, you know, he obviously doesn't watch the program as much as he thinks he does. Or he would know that, because he does miss like 95% of it, because he never gets anything fucking right when I see this fucker talk. But, yeah, no, so Super Showdown is the filler show. Crown Jewel, although the results of the show may make it feel like a filler show, the build-up to it and the way they set this show up, it's not a filler show. They do treat it like a serious event. It's also given the big WrestleMania-type stage, and it's in the stadium, and they got the pyro everywhere. Like, the Crown Jewel is the more serious of the two shows. I mean, I think they actually had a world title change at Crown Jewel between, like, Goldberg and The Fiend. You know, Crown Jewel is definitely the show that they actually, they pay more attention to. But, yeah, I do agree, yeah, I mean, there's nothing on there that I'm dying to see. Again, if they hadn't ruined it already by doing it, I'd be more hyped for it, because it'd be that first time ever, Brock and Bobby, but that's it. You know, I don't care about Omos and Braun. That's going to be fucking awful. But again, another match that you would put on for a show that you don't need to sell tickets, and you're putting it on for a crowd that doesn't get wrestling very often, so you give them the freak spectacles. That's what this show is going to be. Which is why the steel cage match will have a bunch of flips off the cage and dumb shit, and I'm sure Drew McIntyre will do some dumb shit or whatever, and they'll fucking hit one of those fake, stupid-looking fucking overhead belly-to-bellies where fucking Karrion Kross will smack against the cage door. That'd probably be the finish. He'll probably hit some stupid-ass fucking overhead belly-to-belly that always looks like shit, and fucking Karrion Kross will go smack against the cage door, the cage wall will break, and then he'll just climb out to the floor and laugh with Scarlett as he wins. That'll probably be the fucking finish.
I swear to God, that's the finish to the fucking show.
I don't know, I just thought about it. It's probably going to be a finish. Either that or you'll hit the Claymore and it'll send him through the cage wall and fucking that'll be the finish. But
I can see that.
It's somehow they're either going to it's going to end in a pinfall, or it's going to end with Karrion Kross getting sent through the wall and winning over some bullshit. So, but no, so I mean it's whatever. But you know this segment. They're focused on trying to build this match. They're really hyping up the one lucky shot, which I just... Whatever. Moving on. After that, we then got the Miz backstage. And I don't know the interviewer's name, as I don't believe a graphic was up, or if it was there for a very small period of time.
It was Kathy Kelly.
Okay, Kathy Kelly. She tells The Miz that Johnny is going to be doing a tell-all interview later tonight to tell everyone about the Miz's Dexter Lumis bullshit. And fucking Miz tells him that if it airs, that he's going to have a civil lawsuit against WWE that'll put fucking Johnny Depp and fucking Amber Heard's civil defamation lawsuit to shame. Whatever. Mustafa Ali comes in and says it's a shame that Miz is trying to get out of wrestling him tonight, since the Miz is hurt, since he just got knocked out. I mean, he shouldn't be wrestling at all. He should be on medical suspension whenever you get knocked out, but this is fake fucking wrestling, so it's whatever. He said that it's a shame because everything is bigger in Texas. He looks down at Miz's trunks. Says, but except your balls. And then he screams, Miz, you have tiny balls!
Hey, yo,
yeah. Don't know about that one. So then, Judgment Day comes out. Fucking, we had to listen to that bullshit theme also. The fucking... That garbage-ass fucking sounds like someone's crying when you hear that shit, too.
I thought that was your favorite.
No, it's garbage. But, it seems someone's been listening to the reviews, because I said, okay, we have fucking 3 male wrestlers in the fucking, the Judgment Day. And week after week, we've only seen Finn Balor wrestle in these singles matches. We got Dominic Mysterio in 1 match. But I was like, why the fuck is Damian Priest never doing anything? He just works tag matches and stands there and does nothing. Just like Rhea. So then I said, well, why don't we get Damian Priest to fucking wrestle for once? And I actually said, why don't you get Damian Priest and Luke Gallows? And in the context of where this match was put on the card and the time it was given and what they were going to do with this, since it was just going to lead to the OC getting jumped afterwards anyway, I don't know why they didn't just have Luke Gallows wrestle Damian Priest. You know, the crowd that went there hasn't really seen anything anyway. You might as well give them the big spectacle match between the two big guys, the two brutes of the factions, the enforcers. But no, once again, week after week, we get Carl Anderson. So now it's Carl Anderson and Damian Priest. As the Judgment Day was coming out, we got some photographs of children that were dressing up as Rhea Ripley. I noted that they're going to be soon-to-be school shooters.
Oh my god.
Especially that first one. But anyway, the OC comes out. And we're told, like I said, we're told it's Carl versus Damian. We get a recap of last week. And all the shenanigans that happened last week. And then the match starts. Carl Anderson, same as always, landing some chops. And Carl Anderson is not a bad worker. I feel like as a singles competitor, his matches are very formulaic. I feel like he's more creative as a tag team. That's why I think them as a tag team is actually a hell of a lot better than neither of them two as singles. But they're definitely not solo wrestlers. Carl Anderson reminds me a lot of Devon Dudley, where as a singles worker, his matches, I mean, it was so formulaic and the same shit. You know, Bubba was kind of the same thing in regards to the actual in-ring work, but Bubba was actually a really good storyteller, and he was always good at the facials and the yelling, the screaming, playing the heel, playing the face. He always did a really good job of that shit and bringing the story involved into it. But whenever it came to, you know, Bubba fucking, you know, the matches also, he could be very formulaic at times as well. But yeah, Carl, you know, again, he started laying in the chops. Priest hit a flying elbow. This sends them out the ring, and Carl rams Priest into the post, but he stops doing anything. He doesn't take advantage of it, even though Priest is down. He just fucking looks at the crowd, and this prompts Priest to get up and fucking hit a cheap shot. He gets into it with the OCs at ringside, saying that's bullshit, and we go to commercial. Come out of commercial, Damian Priest is laying in some strikes. Hits another running elbow into the corner. Hits a Falcon Arrow for a 2 count. Carl starts laying in some chops. Fucking escapes a chokeslam attempt and hits a side kick to the gut. This then prompts the comeback spot where he starts laying in the clotheslines and then hits a running senton. Then he throws him into the ropes and hits him on a rebound spine buster for a 2 count. Damian is then going for what the commentators called a move called a Reckoning, which almost looked like Cody Rhodes' fucking move, where he does like the crossroads. But anyway, Carl counters with the backslide, and Carl wins. Short match, didn't really fucking matter. Separated by a commercial, got like no wrestling. This then prompted the Judgment Day and the OC to brawl. Rhea then low blows Gallows, which gives the Judgment Day the upper hand. And she then starts challenging AJ and Carl to fucking fight her. Well, she was just doing that so that way Finn and Damian could jump them. That whole spot, you know. And then the OC's getting bodied and Priest hits a Razor's Edge. Which, I mean, it... For him, for a guy his height, I guess it doesn't look bad if he does it, but... if he hits it, I want to see him kick out of it. But, you know, whatever.
He's been doing that.
Have people been kicking out of it?
If he wrestled a match, a singles match, I could tell you that.
Fuck me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Finn hit a coup de grace to fucking the other fuck in the ring, and then Dom hit a frog splash. He did the Eddie shit to piss off the Texas crowd because Eddie Guerrero was like a god in Texas. And that was the end of that segment. Before we move on, what is your thoughts on Carl Anderson and Damian Priest?
said, it's a short match. Yeah, I don't really care for Carl Anderson in there as a singles competitor, so it was just whatever. I felt like it should have been Luke Gallows in there anyway, but you know, it is what it is. I guess giving Carl a little fucking win and then getting the shit beat out of him afterwards is okay. It's a Rhea Ripley shit. We need to actually do something with her aside from her just being the valet that slaps people in the fucking nuts all the time. He was just there for distractions. He was literally just like a fucking mannequin with a functioning arm. It was alright. I wish it was an actual match between Luke Gallows, Damian Priest. Yeah.
That's basically what I was saying. But after this match, we then got Omos backstage with MVP. And MVP you could literally, I almost want to look up the promo that he cut a couple weeks ago, because I'm pretty sure this is just carbon cut. Yeah. So, cuts this fucking promo, same shit as always, basically tells him that he'll never measure up to Omos, whatever. And then after that, JBL begins his entrance. And then that's separated by a commercial. We come out of commercial and JBL starts cutting his promo, and I was kind of, confused how he was going to go about this because he is in Texas, and I thought, okay, maybe he'll shit on Dallas because he's from Houston. But no, at first he actually kind of got you with the swerve. I love this promo. Starts, I put in my notes, started sucking Texas dick, and he's putting over all the legends. He's like, how about them Cowboys? Which, by the way, you got to love the Dallas crowd booing. Because the Cowboys fans in Dallas have been so disenchanted with how that franchise looks like it's always going to go somewhere and just fucking fails in the fucking playoffs. Which is why the growing meme... Oh, yeah, it's why it's a meme. It's literally a fucking meme. Because, like, Cowboys fans, you have the ones that are delusional talking about, it's our year. We them boys. Talking about... Cowboys Nation, let's ride. Fucking, they're always like the delusional Cowboys fans talking about it. This is our year. Well, I thought every year was, if the past years, few years has been your year, and yet you always lose or fail to make it to the playoffs. So yeah, Dallas is pretty disenchanted with their Cowboys. But anyway, he basically was doing all that, hyping up Texas. And he said Texas was great. It was legendary. Until you Gen Zer and millennials started ruining it. You fruitcake fucking... You call them snowflakes.
Yeah.
So they turned it into snowflake country. And he roast them on celebrating Halloween. A holiday where their kids can go out and ask for free candy. And all this and that.
Oh, he didn't... Oh, that's not what he said. He said... the holiday where you send your kids out to strangers' houses begging for food.
That's what I'm saying. Begging for food. It was great. It was great. But he then ended it by saying that he told them to stand up on their fat, woke, stubby feet and cheer for the next Texas legend, Baron Corbin. Corbin comes out, and I don't know what the fuck fit he's wearing, boy. That shit was diabolical.
Might have been Gucci.
And then Corbin starts cutting a promo. He tells everyone they're welcome for being in the presence of a wrestling god. Tells them thank you for scrapping up all that money out of your fucking... your out of your fucking money jars, your piggy banks, just to come see him. Because they all love him. As he's doing all that and the segment's going over great, I love it, suddenly it comes to a fucking halt. When fucking... And I'm like, oh, fuck me. So here comes fucking R-Truth, and he's dressed as a rancher cowboy. Because he wants to go and work at Ram Ranch. Ram Ranch really rocks. Big, hard, throbbing cocks in the yard. Yeah. It was fucking ass! Comes in the ring and JBL calls him a buffoon, says, what are you doing? And R-Truth said he just wanted to wish Dallas a happy Halloween. But he also came to the ring to tell JBL and Corbin how much he likes their costumes. And JBL said that we're not wearing any costumes, you fucking idiot. And he said, no, you're dressed as a out-of-touch, angry old man. And Corbin is dressed as a, and he couldn't say bitch, he got it partially off before Corbin started attacking him. And it looks like Truth's about to make a comeback after he kind of knocks over JBL and Corbin or whatever, but then Corbin just slaps him with the end of days, and that was the end of that. Fucking stupid. But then, we're told that the trick or street match was next. Yeah. And it was at this point that I put in my notes that the show started nosediving towards the end of the second hour once again. As soon as R-Truth came through that fucking goddamn square or whatever you want to call it through that stage, I said, yep, this is the part of the show where it starts to go to shit. Yep. Because then we get the fucking trick or street match. We come out of commercial, and we see jack-o'-lanterns. Now, mind you, and this is, again, I called this shit during the commercial. I told Devon, I was like, watch, there's not going to be a street fight. They're just going to smack each other with kendo sticks in a fucking normal-ass, no DQ match, and it's going to have a bunch of Halloween-themed shit everywhere. I literally nailed that shit to a T. I'll say that, I didn't think about the candy corn kendo sticks. But I knew, because they don't like using chairs and tables are reserved for Extreme Rules matches, that they were going to use kendo sticks, smack them around a couple of times, and fucking do some dumb shit with the props that they set at ringside, and it was going to be over. And that isn't exactly what happened. And I took no notes for this match. I also took very little notes for the match afterwards, because I was starting to get disenchanted with this fucking show. But anyway, essentially, that's what happened. This match, they came out there and started smacking each other around with kendo sticks and shit. I do gotta mention, Otis and Gable came out as Chris Farley and Patrick Swayze from the Chippendales dancer bit from Saturday Night Live. Yeah. It was fucking hot goddamn garbage!
Come on, you seemed like you enjoyed it.
No. Matt Riddle came out as Ezekiel. And he's still with Elias, because I really feel like they're setting that up to be a tag team. And whatever, moving on. I don't give a fuck. Trash. 0 out of fucking 10. Fuck this segment. I don't care. We have a lot of shitty segments to cover after this. I'm done. I don't care.
You gotta tell the people. You gotta tell the people. Come on. You gotta do it for the people. They
No, I don't. No, the fuck I don't. This shit was hot, flaming hot dog shit.
Why was it flaming hot dog shit? Gotta tell the people, or they'll never know.
I just told them. Is this pro wrestling, Devon? When you have fucking candy corn kendo sticks, candy all over the ring, jack-o'-lanterns, and fucking Halloween-themed apparel for these dumbass wrestlers coming out and twerking. Any form of semblance or seriousness that you could ever apply, ever, for the rest of their careers. Not just now, because obviously they ain't serious now to begin with. But Chad Gable and Otis are done. Anytime they do anything, someone's gonna, if anyone saw this, they're gonna look back and be like, oh, if they remember, because this show was trash, and they were most likely asleep by this point of the show. But fucking, if they fucking saw this, they're gonna be like, oh, that's that fat fuck that had a fucking pumpkin on his fucking head and was twerking as a fucking Chris Farley act. And they couldn't even get the fucking song right. They danced and twerked to fucking, I don't even know what the fuck it was, but it was not working for the weekend by Loverboy. So here bozos that put this fucking bit together couldn't even dance to the correct fucking song. And yet Triple fucking Ego is supposed to be the one that's making this show better. This is his booking. It's not fucking Bruce Pritchard. He has nothing to do creative. It's not Kevin Dunn. He's in production. Shooting the fucking cameras and stuff like that. It has nothing to do with any of the fucking last few Vince guys left in that company. Now, if Vince is still booking the show secretly from his house, that's one thing. I mean, theoretically, he could donate his services for free. It's not like he has to fucking work as a title. Which is why I've speculated that he never really left anyway. He just left his title so that way he would avoid the backlash and the company wouldn't lose any value in stock. But fucking, I mean, yeah, unless you want to continue to blame it on Vince, then this is all fucking triple fucking Eagle. Triple fucking snore. Triple ass.
Yeah, this felt like a Vince concoction. I didn't want to believe it when I saw it announced, So I was like, okay, maybe this is just, they got a dumb gimmicky title for it.
Everything on this fucking show is Vince would have done.
Yeah.
People will even point to the Brock and fucking Bobby brawl shit. You know how many brawls that Brock Lesnar has been in when Vince was booking this shit? Brawled with fucking Undertaker, Cena. He's brawled, and they always had the same thing. The fucking whole roster had to come out and separate him. He brawled with Triple H. This is nothing fucking new. There's not a single thing on this show that Vince has not done. And at times, to be completely honest, done better.
So, do you think Vince is writing from the shadows?
Well, no. I think the serious problem that no one talks about is that they have all these writers that write these segments. And Mick Foley kind of, I don't know if he inadvertently did this on purpose or because I know he has problems with WWE. But I don't know if he did this on purpose or if he just dropped this, as a slip. But I was listening to his podcast, the most recent one where he was talking about his latest run with WWE from like 2016 or whatever. And I guess he talked about a story where he was backstage with Becky Lynch and the writer gave him his promo for the night. And it was when he was working with Dean Ambrose, and Dean Ambrose was having the feud with Brock Lesnar. And there was a backstage segment where he was going to get the barbed wire wrap baseball bat to Dean Ambrose. And the writer gave him the script, and Mick Foley looks at it, and he told the writer, he was like, this is fucking awful. This literally looks like, I feel like there's too much comedy in this. Like, we need to do something more serious. And so the writer goes away to go rewrite something else, and him and Dean sit there, and they come up and they're brainstorming a new idea. And after they brainstorm the new idea with the whole fucking him telling, like Dean Ambrose asking Mick Foley why, because Mick Foley's whole thing is that he wanted Dean Ambrose to not wrestle this match, because he was going to get hurt if he wrestled Brock Lesnar. And Dean Ambrose asked Mick Foley, this is where Mick Foley came up with. He said Dean Ambrose is going to ask him, he's going to be like, well then, you wrestled all those matches you shouldn't have wrestled where you could have been killed. Why did you do it? And Mick Foley said, because I'm Mick Foley. And then Dean Ambrose said, well, then that's my answer, because I'm Dean Ambrose. I have to wrestle this match. And it's like, okay, like that was really fucking good. Way better than probably coming out with a pooper scooper. So they pitch it to the writer, and as they're pitching it to the writer, before they did, he looks at Becky Lynch, and Mick Foley says, this is how, because Becky was having problems with the same writer, with her promo. So he told Becky, he was like, watch this. So he pitches it to the writer, and he made the writer feel as if this was his idea all along and not Mick and Dean Ambrose's. He had to make the writer feel like he was the one that came up with it. So that way the writer would go for it. And the reason he was talking about that is he was comparing it to how, people get on to CM Punk for taking the scripts and crumbling it up in a ball and throwing it back at the writer and telling them to go fuck themselves. He was comparing it to that because he was like, there's two ways you can go about changing what the writers give you. Yeah, you can do it the CM Punk way, but not everyone has that kind of pull. And he literally talked about it because Punk used to do it, Triple H used to do it. They used to tell stories about how Triple H in like 2003 would come to Raw, and Brian Gewirtz would show him the script of what he was going to do tonight. Triple H would look at the script and he was like, this is what we're doing tonight? And, Brian Gewirtz would be like, yep. And then Triple H ripped the fucking script up in a bunch of pieces, threw it right at his face and said, we're not doing this. Rewrite it. So there's that approach that you can take. Or you also have Stone Cold's approach, where he called Vince on the phone. The famous story with him walking out of the company because they booked him and Brock Lesnar. This is when Brock Lesnar was brand new, running through the roster. This motherfucker beat Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, fucking everyone. He was about to win the title against The Rock. And they wanted to have him wrestle Austin in a King of the Ring qualifying match on Raw. That was going to be a quick little 5 to 10 minute match. And Austin was like, are you fucking out of your minds? This is a pay-per-view match. I'm not going to wrestle him on Raw. He had no problem doing the job. He just didn't think, for one, at that stage in his career and with how over he was, he shouldn't be doing the job on free television and a match that wasn't fucking advertised. And two, he shouldn't be doing it on fucking Raw. They should make people pay for this match. And so Vince calls him on the phone after, JR called fucking Austin, telling him, well, come on, pal. Will you do it, please, for me? I don't want to get yelled at by the big guy. Fucking Austin's like, nope, I ain't doing it. Piece of trash. So then fucking Vince calls him on the phone. Hey, pal. Did you hear about your plans for Monday Night Raw? And apparently the story goes that Austin said, is that what I'm doing on Raw? You're going to have me wrestle Brock Lesnar? Going to give away that match? Vince, apparently, there was silence on the other end phone for a second. Vince goes, well, yeah. And so Austin said, all right, then I won't be at Monday Night Raw. So, time of the show rolls in. They let Austin get some time to, they're thinking, oh, he'll get over it. He's just angry. He'll show up. Show comes, no Austin. 7 o'clock, no Austin. Now it's at the time of the segment, like 8 o'clock, no Austin. Austin didn't show up. And he walked out of the company and he quit. It was in 2002. But yeah. So Mick Foley he showed, there's multiple ways you can handle it. But the thing that I think he let slip there is the fact that you almost have to make the writers feel like they're the ones that came up with it. Just for you to get something that's good. Dean Ambrose kind of did too when he did that shoot interview about how, he had to tell him, please come up with something different. I want to do the pooper scooper. Because these writers, they don't know fuck all about wrestling, and they're coming up with these segments that they think Vince would like. They're not writing it because they think it's good television. They write it because they think Vince will like it. If anything, it's not Triple H. Although, yeah, Triple H and Vince, both of them, could they have told the writers no? Yeah. But both of them now have allowed what that shitty writing team put together on a piece of paper to go on television. So, yeah, change is not coming. Change is not here. And change is not now. It is not then, and it will never be here forever.
But do you think change is achievable together?
No. I mean, yeah, some people will be like, well, it's not the writer's fault. They're tired and they never got any sleep. These writers don't have a fucking backbone. I have yet to see one fucking well-respected wrestler or personality in wrestling, from Paul Heyman, Jim Cornette, fucking Bruce Pritchard, fucking Stone Cold, Chris Jericho, any of the top talents in CM Punk, Dean Ambrose, all these fuckers, Keith Lee, anyone that's ever came out and did a shoot interview about these fucking guys, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, there's not a single person that had a good thing to say about these writers. And they've all called them fucking pencil neck fucking geeks, virgins, that fucking don't have a fucking sex life. And then you start to look at that and you're like, oh, maybe they're onto something. Maybe that's why this show fucking sucks.
What fucking qualifications do you have to become a WWE writer?
Be a writer on television for any prolonged amount of time. Even if you were a backup writer for like a fucking television show. They hire people that worked on like that 70s show as writers to work on their shit.
What?
They're the writing team for that show, and then they had all these. When I say they have like 30 or 40 writers, they have a lot, and they all come up with shit. And at the last second, all the garbage they would come through, that all has to go through Vince. And Vince has them working every fucking night. Let's have a meeting. Let's have a meeting about having a meeting. And so he'd sit there and they would talk about the show, and they would get the show all writ up all week. And then comes the time of the show, the day before the show, Sunday, Monday, and Vince is like, God damn, this is shit. We need to redo it. Because Vince will start to have second thoughts. Because even Vince at that time, partly because he was out of touch, but two, I think this motherfucker, the problem Vince had is that he had a bunch of yes men working for him. No one wanted to tell Vince that this shit was ass and they needed to go a different direction. Because they were too fucking afraid. Every time someone did go up to him and told him this shit was ass and they wanted to go a different direction, they would change it. Yeah, Dean Ambrose didn't, but that was because Dean Ambrose pissed the company off. When he went on Austin's podcast and they tried strapping the rocket ship to him. He goes on Austin's podcast and looks like he's stoned out of his mind. He couldn't get over with the crowd at all. He couldn't cut any fucking promos. He looked disenchanted and looked like he didn't want to fucking be there. So they gave up on Dean Ambrose. It's probably not the best way to do business, but I can see where, at least why they did what they did. I mean, fuck me. CM Punk, the guy that fucking that company hates a lot, he would be able to go to Vince and tell him, no, I'm not saying this. No one goes to management and tells them, I don't like this. This is not good for my character. They just take what the writers... And the other thing is, too, this is the other thing people seem to forget. The wrestlers want to be featured on television. But the only way they get featured on television is if they're nice to the writers. And they treat the writers good. Because the writers just won't write anything for them. And they won't pitch anything for them when they come up with the creative meetings. You have to suck the writers' dicks. You have to tell them what they want to hear. And you have to do what you're fucking told. Or you just won't be on the show.
That's foul.
Yep. So, I don't know what writer in that company booked what we saw tonight. But whoever did, they need fucking fired. And Triple H, this is where I think Stephanie has a hand to play in it. Because she's came in times and tried to do stuff with creative. She was the one that wanted everybody in the Balor Club. That was her thing.
I remember you saying that.
So, I mean... maybe I could see her doing something like this. She's the one that pitched Battlegrounds. And some of these dumb ideas that they've done over the years. I think she was responsible for a Christmas Raw one time.
Great Balls of Fire was not her too.
Yeah, I think so. Granted, I'm getting this information from, Dave Meltzer and other sources, so you got to take that with a grain of fucking salt. Because it seems like every time this motherfucker reports on something, I end up finding out that he's full of fucking shit. And you also have to remember where his sources are. It's either disgruntled wrestlers that are not being used on the roster, or it's fucking writers that are pissed off and will pitch some crazy idea that was pitched properly, but they never were going to run with. And they'll pitch it and tell them this is what they're doing. And Dave runs with it. He got caught the other day when some wrestling company, some fucking mud show wrestling company, I can't remember which one it was, started with like a O. He thought they were going to partner with WWE. Because there was some rumor that was given to him about it, and then WWE came out and said, fuck no. And so he started getting roasted on Twitter because he was wrong again. Dave Meltzer does not know fuck all. If you go through the historic past of the Observer and you look at all the shit this fucker's reported on, there's so many fabrications and the shit that he has published. It's astonishing that people still use the Observer as their primary source for wrestling news. It's baffling to me. But whatever. Mind you, WWE has leaked stuff intentionally to him to throw him off. There was one not that long ago that when they said that it was the Rumble where Brock had the belt and he eliminated like 15 people, they had leaked to him that Lesnar was going to win the Royal Rumble. And so he reported on that it was most likely going to be Brock. He didn't want to come out right and say it, so I think he said something to the effect of all signs point to Lesnar winning the Rumble. But he took the bait. So, once again, when you hear Dave Meltzer talk, just know that there's a 50-50 chance that what's coming out of his mouth is going to be complete and utter fucking horse shit. Same for fucking Brian Alvarez, especially that little fucking nerd. Hope he breaks his fucking neck.
I don't even know who that is.
It's the guy on a show. He works in the indies. He's a fucking... Yeah, he sucks fucking AEW's dick so fucking hard. He's the one that CM Punk got into it with at the press conference. And he was like, Alvarez, you were so incredulous on that I fucking went into business for myself. And then Alvarez was that little fucking nerd that was talking, but I went on to say that you were only doing it because you felt attacked and that you were provoked. That you were defending yourself. Because he's a fucking pussy. And as soon as he said that, they're done with the presser. They go home, film the Observer report. This fucker's shitting all over him. Complete 180. Because he's a fucking pussy. He works in indie mud show things where 5 people in the world actually see him wrestle. He's not fucking good in the ring. He's trash. And this fucker talks about matches. He's the one that said, -5 stars. That's him. That's Alvarez. The other one, there's 2 other ones that everyone takes for wrestling news, is Wade Keller from the Torch. Or not the Torch, what's he from? Something like that. He's from another one of the wrestling publications. And Wade Keller has his moments of being a fucking dumbass, but he's a little more accurate than they are. But the one that everyone currently is going crazy over is Sean Ross Sapp. Sean Ross Sapp, you actually have to buy his Patreon to get his fucking news. But I guess he actually has, like, legit friends that work for WWE and AEW, so I don't fucking know. Take that with a grain of salt. But he's been way more accurate than the other 2, and he blows the Observer out of the water with how many subscribers and people pay for his shit. It's not even close. Would I listen to Sean Ross Sapp? Fuck no, baby! But people do. One thing I'll give Sean Ross Sapp is that he's at least not biased with his reporting. So, take that as you will. But if you thought that segment was bad, it only gets worse from here. So after that fucking dumpster fire of a match, we go backstage with Damage Control. And they're talking about how they're going to embarrass everyone, and they're going to keep all the belts, and they're going to beat Bianca, and they're going to beat Alexa and fucking Asuka, and they're going to show why they mean business. And she went over to Io, and you're going to show why you were underrated. She said to Dakota Kai, you're going to show why you deserve to be here, or some shit like that. Well, anyway, then The Miz makes his entrance, and after seeing him the last time with the Roman Reigns, and the fucking, the backstage segment with Kathy Kelly, I'm like, get this fucker off my TV screen. I'm done. But he comes out, we're told that him and Mustafa Ali are coming up next. We go to commercial. Come out of commercial, and I started to take notes on this match, but I said, you know what? This is fucking trash. Fuck this match. There was another commercial inside of this match that separated it, whatever. Wasn't anything fucking crazy. Miz like hiding, doing little spots in the corner, doing heel shit. Fucking, but anyway, he ends up getting distracted at the end. And fucking, because of Loomis or whatever, and that sets up Ali to hit a 450 splash, and Ali won. But then we're told that the Johnny Gargano tell-all is next. We go to commercial again. 3 commercials from the start of that Miz segment to the end of it. Mind you, this is the final hour of the program. We then come out, and it's in the form of 60 minutes, where you get the clock ticking in the background and the weird voice of Byron Saxton talking about, I was talking to Johnny Gargano, and Johnny Gargano is going to tell us all about The Miz in a few moments. Like fucking 60 minutes or some shit. And then we get a clip of Johnny Gargano talking about his relationship with Dexter Lumis, and then audio of The Miz apparently recorded and sent to Dexter Lumis about, because I guess he was paying Dexter Lumis to act like he was a stalker because he wants to be seen as a Hollywood A-shot, and he needs every Hollywood celebrity has a stalker, so he needs a stalker so he can look like a Hollywood big shot. This was fucking garbage. One of the worst segments I have ever seen. And they spent like 5 to 10 minutes on this. And I will not be spending 5 to 10 minutes on this because it was fucking trash. But anyway, after that dumpster fire, garbage, outlaw, mud show, fucking basement dwelling garbage bullshit was done, Alexa, Asuka make their entrance accompanied by Bianca. And we go to commercial. Come out of commercial and Damage Control comes out. We get the introductions because, fuck you, you're only going to get like 5 minutes of wrestling after we come out of commercial because it's going to be like 9:40 and we need to kill time to get to fucking 10 o'clock. So the match starts. Alexa starts hitting some forearms, starts laying in some kicks. She hits a face buster. She didn't sit out with it though. It wasn't like a sit out face buster. Starts standing on Io, which looked a little fake. She missed a double knee where she was like going to jump on her. And that allowed Io to get up and hit the ropes and lay in a diving crossbody. Io then tags Dakota Kai. They do like some double kicks and like a trip or some other bullshit. Dakota Kai applies like a little submission and starts punching her for a little second. I mean, I literally did this for like 10-15 seconds and then she tagged Io back in. Io hits a double knee in the corner while fucking Alexa was seated for a 2 count. Io then tags back in Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai lays in a choke with her foot. Alexa throws Kai and hits a knee, the double knees, and she also runs and hits the ropes and hits a senton for a 2 count. Alexa hits a decent looking Hurricanrana, and then she tags in Asuka. Asuka then starts laying in some kicks. She starts laying in some punches and various strikes. She then hits a German. Dakota Kai stops Asuka from getting a tag to Alexa. Why she was trying to tag her, I had no idea. It made no sense. You're getting the upper hand of Io, or Dakota Kai here. And Dakota Kai tags Io. The crowd goes, ooh, because we're going to get an Asuka-Io showdown. They start exchanging strikes, and Asuka hits a lariat. I called it that because that's what Corey Graves said, and I couldn't tell if it was a clothesline or what. It looked really shit. She tagged Alexa in. Partly, it wasn't Asuka's fault, though. It was mainly more so on Io. Already was taking the bump before it landed. She tags fucking goddamn Alexa in. Alexa punches her, and then Asuka follows it up with the bulldog, and Alexa covers her for a 2 count. Alexa then tags Asuka back in. Asuka then goes up top and hits a missile front dropkick. She then throws him outside, and they both go to do double suicide dives. However, fucking Dakota Kai moved. They start brawling outside, and Asuka goes for a roundhouse, but fucking Io ducks, so Asuka kicks the post. I noted that the ref was not counting. But anyway, after that, since Asuka's selling her foot, we're going to go to commercial. Come out of commercial, and Io hits a neck breaker. She stops Asuka from getting a hot tag, and then Io hit a O'Connor roll to counter a German suplex for a 2 count. Looked alright. Asuka then sends Io outside and tries to tag Alexa. During this point, somewhere in there, Io tagged Dakota Kai, but we barely saw it, and Dakota Kai comes in to stop the hot tag. Asuka then throws Dakota Kai outside and tries to tag Alexa, but Io comes in, so then Asuka ducks the strike that Io's going to throw and throws her outside the ring too. She gets the hot tag, and Alexa gets the hot tag spot off and starts laying in some clotheslines. She lays in 2 Luthez presses. The second one looked like shit. She then hits a standing drop kick, hits knees to the back while, I believe this was to fucking Dakota Kai on the ropes. And then she also hit a sunset flip powerbomb that looked really nice for a 2 count. Alexa then tags Asuka. Alexa does a drop kick, and then fucking Asuka applies an armbar. Io breaks it up, and then Io hits a backbreaker to Alexa. And then Dakota Kai applies a heel hook to Asuka. It's like attacking that fucking injured foot. So I like that. Fucking Dakota Kai then tags Io after Asuka escaped. And Io lands some knees onto Asuka. Io then does a springboard missile dropkick for a 2 count. Looked alright. Io goes up top, and Asuka catches her into a code breaker. It actually looked really nice, and they got a 2 count. Asuka then applies an armbar, and then transitions that into the Asuka lock. Now, Bayley distracts the ref, and Io taps, so I'm like, okay, this is going to be the finish, whatever. And Corey Graves even mentions, because of the distraction, that isn't Bianca, isn't that what she's there for? And as I noted, Bianca is fucking worthless. But anyway, Kai breaks up the submission, and then Dakota Kai kicks Alexa, and this is where the match starts to fall on his face a little bit. She kicks Alexa, Dakota Kai hits a scorpion kick to Asuka. The ref is not counting Dakota Kai and Alexa down, even though they're in the ring and they're not the legal contestants. Bianca and Bayley are outside, and the crowd, and they're on this platform, and they do a fucking diving mood off of it through a crash pad. And it looked really fake because of the camera angle. Anyway, fucking Dakota Kai and Io are double teaming Asuka, and Alexa helps take out fucking Dakota Kai. But then Io kicks Alexa when she's on the apron. Io is about to fucking hit a move, but she misses it, and Asuka tags Alexa. They floor fucking Io, and Alexa hits the Twisted Bliss, and Alexa and Asuka are your new Women Tag Team Champions. R.I.P. Damage Control. Wasn't a bad match for a women's tag. I was actually kind of shocked. Again, could have sold better. There was some spots that were shit, but it wasn't anything so egregious that it took away from the story they were trying to tell. I mean, wouldn't have been what I would have did, but it was alright. At least they got the fucking Damage Control. We can get them the fuck out of here. They shot off a metric fuck ton of pyro to rub it in a little bit, just for the fucking Damage Control marks out there that are crying on Twitter. And that was how we went off the air. But Devon, what are your thoughts on the main event and on the Miz match with fucking Mustafa Ali?
Another match where I don't care about Mustafa Ali. They don't know what they're doing with him. He's just there to put on matches. Send him to fucking NXT. You can have classics with JD McDonough. Fucking Carmelo Hayes. I don't I didn't care for that match. And it ended on some screwy bullshit anyway, so it's not like I care about the win from Mustafa Ali. It does nothing. Just continues on with the fucking Miz and fucking Johnny Gargano and fucking Dexter Lumis and all that bullshit. So I don't care.
What a terrible way, by the way, for Dexter Lumis to debut. Because I see some people making that argument. It's like, well, they're doing this because it's a big way for him to debut. How? He's debuting in a complete garbage storyline that just came out of nowhere. But continue.
No, it's. I feel like there was already so much shit going on that, like, putting this out there as well, trying to fucking. Oh, he could have went without him. It's just another layer on the shit cake that is fucking WWE right now. It's completely. I think it's unnecessary. But I guess it's also just like I can't even say that because I'm not sure if Tommaso Ciampa was injured before this or if he got injured when it was taking place or what. I feel like this is just a placeholder for all that. Because it's like we have to have Tommaso Ciampa.
He ain't gonna be back for 8 months.
Yeah, he's out of there. So they're really, goddamn.
This does nothing.
Yeah, this does nothing. That doesn't make me care about Dexter Lumis. I haven't seen him wrestle at all. I don't care about the Miz, so it's like, I don't know. That's another. The Miz is one of also those motherfuckers stealing money.
Been stealing money from that company for 15 years. Yes, sir.
Is the other shit the main event?
Yep.
I mean, I like the result of the main event. The match itself was okay. The end was, like you said, a little screwy. Got a little pie on its face, if you will. But it's alright. I can't really dunk on it, like I do with everything else. But it's not like it. For me, like I said, it wasn't the best match. Or it would be a second to that Seth Rollins Austin Theory match.
Well, you ain't got much matches to choose from.
Yeah. Just a very, very close second to that Seth Rollins Austin Theory match.
Okay, besides the street fight fucking trick or treat shit, what was the worst one then?
That the only other fucking match on the card.
No, there was 3 others.
Oh yeah, it was 3 others. I forgot about the Judgment Day shit.
Carl Anderson, Damian Priest.
Yeah. I mean, that was okay. It was okay. It was just short as fuck.
So the second worst match would be Bianca and fucking Nikki Ass, which accomplished nothing.
Ooh, wait. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It can't be the worst because that fucking trick or treat.
Yeah, that trick.
Nah.
That was. It's like they did. It's like I don't know why they keep doing that shit for the holiday shit. Like I get it, but you don't need a whole fucking gimmick match for it. They do it with Christmas. They do it with Thanksgiving. They do it with fucking New Year's. They do it with Halloween. They fucking
remember Baby New Year's. Baby New Year
Good.
Big Show with the
Good
diaper.
God. Good God, man. It's just not necessary.
I want to know which one's worse. I'm gonna have to go back sometime, and maybe we'll do a retro review on it. But they had a Christmas Raw from like either 2011, 2012, or 2013, one of those years. And to this day, people widely regard it as one of the worst Raws of all time.
You want to make me watch that?
I want to see if this one's worse. Because it felt like it when I watched that Trick or Street. I'm not gonna lie, and the other matches didn't do nothing. Might contender, might have a contender.
This shit, and then like the Viking rules match, and the stupid shit on the fucking like the ramp of the ring, whatever the fuck.
And the shields everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, shields everywhere. Like, stop that shit. Stop it. Then you're gonna hear fucking JD from NY talking about fucking Mad Riddle. Fucking trick or street fight. Listen to that later. Fucking.
Oh yeah.
So it wasn't the worst thing, man.
Are you sure you're gonna listen to that though? Because you might be busy listening to him bitch about fucking Jade Cargill still.
Oh yeah, he might.
Fucking Jade Cargill! I did everything for this fucking company! I've defended this fucking women's division for fucking years!
That dude was talking like the fucking lost their own money.
It's Kobe Lopez! That nigga Kobe Lopez owes me money!
Yeah, next thing you know, he's gonna be running in on a Jade Cargill match like a fucking 2K animation.
He's gonna tackle her at the fucking ramp. Oh.
But Jade Cargill owes me money for the fucking OTS venue.
You know what? My money's on Jade Cargill. Fuck it.
Yeah.
She's female bodybuilder, build as shit. I don't think it's that unfair to say that she could probably whoop his ass. They probably weigh about the same. Cause she's big as shit. She's gotta be close to what? Fucking 180. It maybe. You gotta have a lot of weight to have that much muscle. Well, wait. Never mind. She has lost a lot of muscle. Never mind. Yeah, he might got that. I forgot. She don't look like she did that one time. I remember seeing her when she did the She-Hulk shit. I was like, God damn, she lost a lot of muscle. I don't know. We'll have to see. I still think my money's on her because that nigga, fuck JD from NY. What do you have to say? What do you think about the reactions on Twitter?
Oh man, that actually, to my surprise, everybody loved Alexa Bliss and Asuka going over. I wasn't expecting that. So it's pretty evident that a lot of people that Damage Control is not over. People are not resonating with that fucking statement.
By the way, shout out to Scary Monster. I love this response. He said, "And people will be dick sucking nipple H in every booking decision he makes."
Yeah,
shout out.
I was sitting there chatting with them for a second in the thread. Yeah. Shout out Scary Monster on Twitter. But yeah, it's that was surprising. That person was a big, huge EO fan too. So they're like pissed. Pissed. For the vast majority, people were like, "Hell yeah!" I was not expecting. I thought it was gonna be like a fucking wildfire. Oh, that like don't get it twisted. There's a vocal little group of people that are complaining about the outcome and fuck Triple H, nigga can't book for shit. The one thing I don't see though is people making the the connection from like this Raw. So let's say like a fucking Halloween Raw from like fucking last year or some shit like that. Like it's literally the same shit. Same shit. And I don't see how people can't see that. Like this felt like this more than any other Raw in like the past 3 weeks or whatever, the 4 weeks, whatever the fuck. This felt like a true Vince McMahon Raw. Well, let's stop perpetuating the fucking narrative that this nigga triple eyelashes can do no wrong. This nigga's not the best booker in the world. This Raw was trash. This Raw was trash. Cry about it. If you want to dispute otherwise, I will sit down and look at your tweet and laugh and respond accordingly. But yeah, I'll be fucking sitting there like Shao Kahn on fucking Mortal Kombat, the throne and fucking Outworld.
Also, shout out to Righteous Reg. He said them tag titles in the exact same position they were when Sasha and Naomi laid them out on that desk that day.
People actually think that that's like the next little, that's like the next thing they're going for with those tag titles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Paul George step back, black. Oh, oh, okay, PG.
But yeah, I think that's gonna be it. I think that's gonna be it. I mean, like I said, you know, Phil, I'm hoping this Twitter stuff works out. You know, we'll see how this one performed, and already it's been getting more traction than the Twitch channel, and so we'll see. You know, maybe we can find a way to make the Discord to where we can invite people. They can join in, get their live thoughts. And obviously, if you say some toxic shit, we'll have to remove you. But we'll see. You know, that's one thing. I want to find an app where I can do call-ins. But I don't have the ability to do that yet.
The what you can do actually with Twitter Spaces, that's why I was talking about that shit earlier. When you start one, and people flood into your shit, you can assign them as listeners or speakers, so you can mute them whenever you want. Say if you're trying to, I'll have to explain it to you how the show works afterwards. But I mean, that would probably be the most viable.
Yeah, but you have to. But the problem is if they're coming, we're doing the Discord. The Discord audio is coming through, so it's not going to come through Twitter unless I had the Twitter open also in the background, which would cause an echo. Because it would, so it just wouldn't work. Yeah.
Very cool.
But, yeah, you know, maybe if we ever get to that point where I can figure out something for callers, maybe we could try the Twitter thing at the end of the show when we're done right now and we got some extra time. I could just let people come in for like maybe 20, 30 minutes, get their thoughts, and then we'll pack it up. But for now, I think that's probably going to be it. This was definitely a stinker. Depressing, too, because it didn't start off that bad. Wish there was a little more wrestling at the beginning. I guess we just got spoiled with that Raw last week where there was, it was a 3-hour wrestling show with 90% of wrestling. Who would have thought? But, that was the worst show, according to JD. You know, he didn't want to watch wrestling on a wrestling show. So, but, yeah, so we'll be here Friday, Lord behold, unless we have another fucking technical difficulty. This Friday, I guess I'll elaborate on that for the few people that were there for that disaster. It's still up on the Twitch. I'll have to remove it. So Friday, we were doing the Smackdown review, and when we do the intro, because Devon and Werner and I myself, sometimes we end up having some background audio that leaks into the intro. So I usually mute us. And on OBS, there's a little audio mixer at the top right that I have set up, one of my docks. And there's a volume button. And if you click it, it mutes them. Well, I had myself muted and I had Devon muted. And I clicked the button to unmute us. And when you do, it'll light up. So you can see that there's a live feed coming from the audio. Well, evidently, when I did that, OBS wasn't having it. They didn't seem to think that we were unmuted. So we sat there for 48 minutes before I started to realize that there was no audio coming through. And no one heard any of the thoughts we said for 48 minutes. Also, approximately 45 minutes in, Devon fell asleep. Because that was Friday Night Super Slump, baby! You had to bear with Devon. He was having a bad day that day. Call of Duty hasn't been going the greatest, and he was forced to watch Smackdown because Call of Duty kept crashing. Because initially, we were actually going to cancel that Smackdown review anyway, because the launch of Call of Duty. But he started playing it, and I guess it was having a bunch of crash issues, and the sweat boxes, and the no Corey the class for you. So, you know, we were like, fuck it, we'll do the review. And we watched it, and it was a shit show, and we were going to give our thoughts. But it just never got out there. I have the notes for it, so maybe I don't see the point to go back and run through it now, but yeah, just know we were attempting to do it. Maybe someday I'll just start fucking posting my notes so you can see. I mean, you're probably not going to understand what the fuck some of this shit is. Because sometimes I'll put, like, abbreviations for people's names because I don't got enough time to type all this shit out as I'm seeing it. Because I don't have a DVR. And for most people that talk wrestling, I'm sure they do this shit and they pause it because they have a DVR and they're using a cable box. I'm not doing that. The way we have it set up here is that since we only have one cable box in the household, I actually have Spectrum. You can watch it in other devices using the Spectrum TV app, so I watch it through that. And unfortunately, even if you have a DVR set up, which we do in the living room, Spectrum does not allow the fucking Spectrum TV app to have the features of the DVR. You can when it's on demand, but when it's on demand, it's like watching it through Hulu. There's commercials still. And not only that, you also have the issue of them trimming up the show. So some segments get cut out, just like when it's uploaded to Hulu. So I was like, well, fuck that. And, yeah, so, I don't know. Hopefully no technical difficulties Friday, but we're doing the Friday show. I don't know when we're going to do a retro review. It just doesn't ever seem to line up right. Might move the days of the retro reviews from Saturdays. Not sure how I'm going to do that. I do want to continue to do them, but I was really excited for doing this one from the year 2000, but things just didn't pan out, and it is what it is. You also notice I added that we're going to do NFL, NBA, and UFC coverage. What I mean by that is that, honestly, I've thought about doing shows instead of just doing retro reviews. I might just have a fucking day where instead of sitting in a PlayStation party chat and talking, we'll just all get in a Discord and bullshit for like 2 hours and talk about football, basketball, UFC, and we'll also talk about the fucking retro shows. So I thought about doing that. I don't know what I would call it, but, I'll come up with a name, and we'll do that show or whatever some day of the week and just talk about that stuff. But outside of that, that's about it for you. That's all I got. There were some updates there, and we'll see you guys Friday, barring, like I said, barring technical difficulties or, some fucking godforsaken cause or, fucking I get pissed and throw my fucking controller through the television as I'm watching this dumpster fire. But, yeah. So, see y'all Friday. This has been another episode of J. Rich Talks. To the new fans on Twitter, welcome. I come in peace. And we'll see you all next Friday.
Super Show! You're not fresh, motherfucker! This is the same shit!
0 out of 10.
Trash!
Team
Garbage! This shit is ass!